Hello, guys. This is Jaya for the session of digitalization. Today, we are going to discuss about what is the importance of this tool, what it has the impact on a business module, and with this particular tool, we have a case study dealing with the QR codes. So, first, I should start the session with the scenario where there are two friends who are running a business of tours and travels, where the name of these two friends are Bob and David, where Bob is earning less and David is earning more into this particular business. So, why or what is the reason behind these two friends earning is different? So in this case, Bob is earning less because he is using a traditional way of method, and it is a very time-consuming method where he is not able to complete the request complaint of the customers on time, and he is struggling to get those services completed. But whereas David is earning more and more, getting more and more business, why? Because he's having a digital tool in his particular business model where he is trying to complete all the requests, complaint, query of the customer instantly, and the customer is really happy with the service. That is why the customer is going again and again to give more and more business to him. But in the other hand, Bob is not having many business, as well as he's earning very less than David. Now, in this scenario, we are saying there are two methods which they are applying in their business module. One is the traditional method, and second is the digital method. Now, in my second slide, we'll come to understand what is the actual difference between these two methods. So when we are talking about the traditional method, there are the few pointers, which is defined traditional method. That is, the more manpower is involved, the more time consumption is there. Then the costing is very high, the processing is very slow, and the chances of errors is very high. Whereas on the other hand, the digital method is in which the less manpower is involved, the time consumption is very less, the costing is very low, the processing is faster, and it has more and more accuracy in this particular method. And so this is the actual difference between these two methods when we are applying in a business module. Now, my second slide comprises of what is the actual definition of digitalization. So, if I'm going to explain digitalization, it stands upon four pointers or the four pillars which makes it define digitalization. So, my first point is technology, second point is data, third is process, and fourth is organizational change. So, when we are talking about technology, every business model is having technology to run the business. So, this technology plays an important part. Either it creates a new technology or it modifies the existing technology in the business module so that it becomes more transparent for the consumers as well as for the business owners. Second pointer is the data. When you are running the business, there are a whole lot of data for your business, whether it is about your product or your brand. But you can do an analysis, you can do the comparison in an online cloud, and it makes it easier to do so because you all require that particular data. So, for every company, the data is really important to understand where actually his brand or the product is standing in today's market situation. Third is the process. When we talk about the process, the automation process, it simplifies the complexity in the business model so that it becomes an easy for the consumers to use it, whether it is an app or is it a website. Last point is the organizational change. So, how would you define this point and why it is important? It is because when the consumer requires some improvisation into your particular product or a brand, so to improvise that particular product, you need to do some changes in your organization to give a better product to the consumers. So, to serve the consumer better, you need to do some organizational changes, you need to do some improvisation in your particular brand or the product which is the consumer required from you. That is why these four pillars go hand in hand when we are talking about digitalization in a business module. Now, my next slide comprises of the importance of digitalization. When we are talking about importance of digitalization, it comes 2 points in my mind. That is, first, how do we increase efficiency while using the digital tool in a business model? So the digitalization increases the efficiency how? While protecting all the data on an online platform. So when if it has happened some natural disaster or the document is lost or if it has been stolen or your system has any bug and it has gone vanished from the system, it has that option that you can retrieve those data from an online platform which is saved by you on that particular platform. But when you see on the other hand, this is not possible in a traditional way of method, because if one document is lost or it is stolen or it is anything has happened to the document, you have to start from the scratch to those particular documents or the data. But this is what a one luxury in a digital tool, that you can retrieve all the data which has been saved on an online platform. Second point which comes in my mind is the retention of the customer. In every business, the customers are really important. And if you're retaining those customers is really, really important. So how do we retain those customers? There's a point when the customer comes with your with a query or complaint to your particular website or an app. So if you listen to that particular query in a proactive manner and you try to solve the issue for the customer would be really happy. And what are the further benefits it will get? That you will gain a good customer base. Secondly, he or she will recommend your app or website to the other people, and you will gain the repeat purchases in your business that makes the growth of your particular business. So that is why the customer retention is the most important part to this digital tool. So the efficiency and the customer retention is the two important points when we look about the importance of a digital tool in a business model. Now, second slide my comprises of the examples of digitalization. When I'm talking about the examples of digitalization, there are a hell lot of examples. I'm not talking about one or two. There are multiple are there, where even the documents are when you are working on some school work or you are working on some project or you can having some art classes or anything. I'm not talking about one part, I'm talking about multiple things where when it is saved in an online platform, you have an easy access to those particular documents which is saved on your laptop, on your online platform. So that is why digitalization helps you to easy the process for you to access the things on it. Whenever you go to a airport, you don't need to carry the physical paper with you. You can just show it on your, because that boarding pass is in your mobile, and you can show it to the security person that you have this boarding pass. So that becomes an easy, you don't have to carry extra paper for you, because sometimes it has that risk that it would be stolen or it would be lost somewhere. So it's a better to keep everything in online platform where there's you have that luxury that you can retrieve all kind set of data in your laptop. So that is why digital tool, if I say, it's a really, really important in today's business model. Now we come to the slide where we can understand what is digitalization, what it has the impact. Now we are trying to understand what are the actual advantages of digital tool. First, we try to understand the difference between two methods. Then we try to understand what is the definition of that particular digital tool. Now we understand the importance. The lastly, we try to understand the advantage. So first, when we start from time saving, so how does it time saves? If you're sitting in an office or a home, you can just browse whatever the product you want to buy. You don't have to travel here and there. So while you're doing a time saving, you are doing a cost saving as well. So it goes hand in hand when you are doing everything and sitting at a one place and trying to purchase any product or any type of furniture, anything. So it is saving your time. You don't have to go here and there. You can find each and good deal for the particular brand or the product. Accuracy, where it have that efficiency or the accuracy where you are doing it everything online. It saves everything. It has increasingly, because everything is saved on an online data, and it is more accuracy whenever you are purchasing. Everything is in an accurate way when you're running your business on an online platform. Easy distribution comes like whenever you want to make give an information about your new launching product or a brand, you can do it easily on a social media nowadays. Why? Because when a traditional method, you have to print pamphlet or the papers and it need to be distributed, and for that you have to spend money for the same. But in this case, in a digital tool, you don't have to pay that much money. You can just put that post on social media and many people will grab that attention. Secured, when we are talking about the secured, all the documents are secured when you have the entire data about your brand product and it is an online platform. It is really secure. If something happens to your system, you still have that advantage that you can retrieve those data. And last point, which is increase in profits. When we are talking about increase in profit, that means is the customer retention. If you retain the potential customer, you will definitely have a business growth. You definitely have a repeat purchases, and you will have the increasing customer base for your business platform. So these are the advantages of digitalization, which goes hand in hand. Now we came to the last session where I was talking about a case study, which is always deals with the QR code, which you all know it's a very easy tool or very trendy tool, where whether you are using in a business, whether you are using in a domestic. So in a domestic, there are wallets where you can just scan the QR code and do the payments for your the vendors or for your uh, purchasing something. So this becomes an easy tool for every person in today's market situation. So today we are going to understand my case study, which is dealing with the online video games. So I can say every kid or adult has that passion to when they are in a free time, they wanted to play some video games, whether it is on online or in a smartphone or in a laptop. So everybody has that passion to uh, play those video games. In early stages, if I say I have that passion also to love, but that was not that enhancement on those video games. So when I'm talking about how this QR code is related to particular in this industry, many of the people are in this particular industry, but at that point in my point of time, there was not that much enhancement. We have to buy some subscription to play some games and all these things. So it is a tedious task to do all these things. But in today's market situation, if we see, the first point or the maybe 2 points come to your mind, that how does the QR code relates into this particular business, and secondly, what are the uses and the benefits for this particular industry while using this QR code. So if I say that QR codes in a video games have been becoming a new tool to engaging the players because of their ease and realitability. So that is what all the industry needs to engage all the consumers. QR code helps in the game publishers and the video marketers as well to reach the new generation for their particular business. So the gaming is a multi-billionaire dollar in a year market with a growing number of video game consumers. You all know every day there is a new game is launched, and you always want to track that market. You always want to engage more and more consumers for your new video games. So these video game consumers have preferred what video game to play and a kind of a game narrative. This is also a part of those online video games where you need all these things. You need a different era, you need a different narration, you need a different game to play. To keep up with this preference of the consumers, you have to be highly competitive according to the market situation, because QR code in the video games are as a vital tool for the game publishers as well as for the marketers. Furthermore, QR code in a video game make an interesting. Whenever you play a video game, there is always a storyline. Because of it can easily integrate more and more, because every video game, online video game, if you're playing on a laptop or a mobile, whenever you start a game, there is always a, you can say, a simple, or it can be in a complicated storyline before starting that particular video game. So the use of QR code to engage new players and improve the user experience. That is the QR code which is used. QR code in our video games are an excellent digital tool that help with the gameplay as well as the emotion. That's the most important thing when the QR codes are integrated in an online video game, because to improve the user experience, because that's what in our online video games, in every industry, when you're talking about, there is always a users, and you always require those experience and the feedback to improve more and more your product, whether you are in this particular field. So my first point comprises, where I'm talking about only right now for the users, that is the game item gateway. So this game item gateway, that means that there are many role play games in an online platform where you can understand how to play it, how to learn new things in an online video game. That is why there are many type of items are there when you're playing an online video game. So sometimes there is an Easter egg when you have this game, have this item in your game. So it has something in that particular, if you try to crack it, so you will get a number of things into that particular item. But for to make that easy or to make that complicated, so nowadays, earlier the Easter egg was really simple for the guys who are playing online games. They just crack and get a new uh, tool for it. But nowadays, the people are who are in this gaming industry trying to hide this so that it does not be easily accessible to the online video games. That in a first stage you get that Easter game and you crack it and you get more and more tools into it. But nowadays, they are all hiding it and making it more difficult for the user to get through it. So that is why the item gateway, you can create it if you have an online video games gallery where you are launching more and more games. Try to keep it in a end to make it more interesting for the users to get through that particular egg, to have more and more surprises, more and more engagement with the users. So my second point comprises of give in a game rewards using this URL QR code. So you all know in every video game, they are almost every time whenever you complete a stage and there is a reward. So keep your players, and for this, you have to keep your players glued in the game by adding this QR code in your game story. Players can collect the items and the treasures by scanning this particular QR code placed in a different location of the game. So that is what in online video games you have all these things when you are designing that. So you need to have that QR code in a different section so that whenever they scan, they get their treasures or the items which they are looking out. You can convert your website redemption center, because when you claim that it should go to the landing page of the redemption page, but you can convert your website into the URL QR code, so the players will have to, or they will scan it and they can redeem their rewards for the treasures or the items. Second, my point comes around, that is to add an interactive video clues when you are playing some, what do you call, a detective video game. So by adding this QR code in your game design, once the player reaches a specific location in your particular game, you can make a video of the clue and convert it to the video QR code. That makes it engagement, that makes it more and more user experience, and it becomes an interesting for the user when he or she is playing your particular game. Now, my second point comprises of a gameplay mission task. Aside aside from the story gameplay items for the players to catch, scan, or collect, other gaming industry integrate these, your gaming companies integrate their QR code as a part of the game mission task. Some of the companies have integrated this QR code as their mission task, and the players are conscious and into that particular, when they are into that particular game, and the players are really very conscious how to scan it, the QR code, while gaming as a proof, the QR code and usage, the QR code have its own usage in that gameplay mission task. Role playing. These QR codes are present in one of the scenes where the player must scan those QR codes to complete the task and proceed to the new chapter or the new stage of the video games. That is really important when you're talking about an online video games, and QR code has its own importance, has its own uses. So you can have the QR code for the mission task so that the user can go to that location, scan it, and try to complete that particular state. That's what my point says about it. To gameplay, to make it as a QR code, that it should engage more and more person. So, how do we do game promotion through QR code? My next point is, everybody has in a mind mostly for the promotion, for the sales, for the marketing, for our online video games. So, these are the points which you can take it, but how do we do the promotion part? As a game developer, if you are, you obviously want more and more people to download the app, and in the offline promotion, QR code can help to increase the traffic to your gaming app. While people getting this app downloaded it. So when they are downloading, you are getting more and more traffic. So all you need is to create that app store QR code by adding your app link to it. Once it is done, either you can print it on the brochures or anything to get that information to the other people, so that the user can immediately scan it and do the downloading for your online game, because everybody in every age, everybody wants to play an online video games. Someone, I can say some people don't do it, but most of the people which I see, they are very interested, and mostly the kids are really interested to play online video games in their leisure time, which you all know, when they are very when they want to relax in their studies, they want to play some games to make their mind relax. So that is why these things are really important when you are in a game developer part, or you are running this particular business. So these things you need to keep in mind. Second is the immersion in game promotion. So, as most of the game companies have developing more games to be used worldwide and promote these games, it should be carefully crafted gameplay input. Since promoting one game to another can be challenging for most when you are trying to challenge to one another. So the game, it becomes a difficult, it becomes a challenge. So most of the gaming companies nowadays inserting a narrative into the one existing match is not enough to integrate user to watch out. So it becomes difficult when you are doing a narrating story in one of the existing. It is not that much complicated, out of which this QR code applies the gaming market, instruct their developers to add this QR code in a gameplay simulation and let the players be more curious about what the QR code has in store. Because when you're doing this, you are, most of the games are launched nowadays and everybody are competitive to one another. So narrative story is a one part, but you can integrate more and more things into that QR code, because the player would be more curious that while scanning it, what surprise he would get or what surprise is stored in that particular QR code. So that's why you can do this type of a game promotion to have more and more customer part in your industry or in your business. So the main thing is the customer feedback, which you all, in every industry, I always say it is not about that one industry requires a customer. If it is a banking, whether it is a online gaming industry, or the cosmetic industry or anything. If I'm talking about the schools, everyone wants a feedback for that particular. So when the purchase is done, so you can just have, or even the person when completes the stage of one particular game, you can attach a feedback form where you can understand what the person or the user requires, what improvisation he requires from your particular online game. That is what it is really important. So today these points are really useful if you are in that particular industry. And so I would repeat, the takeaways would be the game item gateway. Then you can give the game rewards through the URL QR code. Then you can have the interactive video clues in your game, then the game mission task, then for the game app promotions, and last, you can immerse in the game promotion to make it more and more interesting for the users to have, to curious to scan it and get more and more surprises through that particular QR code. So QR code is an important tool when we are talking about an online video game industry, and you should apply this so that you can get more and more people in your platform. In the earlier stage, I've told you there are the users, there are the benefit by using this QR code. So first is the you need to enhance the playability. That the user experience should be measured in a playable where the player should enjoy the game. Whatever you have the game, it should be enjoyable, it should be interactive, it should be the most interesting game so that the kid or the adult is enjoying while playing this particular game. So video game design should have an impact, and it should be in have a good graphic while using the QR code. You can do that through QR code. Secondly, the seamless information transfer through QR code. QR code makes in a video game the things easier to access for the people, because while scanning it, every user can able to access the information about the game, about the strategy, about the players. So you need to make this part so that these are the benefits should come while designing your particular online gaming part. You can generate this customer satisfactory and brand loyalty, which I was talking about. When a player are engaged in video games because of the QR code, you can make them uh, you can try to get more and more feedback. So how would you do that? How do you make it easier for the clients? So instead of typing it manually or searching out in a web, make it as a QR code that they can just scan it and try to get the landing page directly to your website. So that would be an easy so it gives a customer satisfaction. If I'm there, if I scan it and I go to the landing page, I would be really happy. I would not I would be really not into that, going for a tedious task of searching or typing that particular URL. So this would be the other benefit for the online gaming industry. And last is the data tracking. So how many users are tracking and scanning those QR code on your online uh, video game industry. You can have a track how many people have scanned it. You can take a look and you can understand where what is your product is doing, what is a brand is doing, so you can get enough data to understand how to improvise more and more your video games online to the consumers, and it should be easier for the people to do it. So these are the benefits which I am talking about for an online gaming industry. I hope this can be useful while you are in a stage of developing an online game, or you are the owner of that particular game. So try to implement these things which make it easier for you, for the people to play the online video games, and it should have a good feedback while playing this, your particular brand or your product. So this is what about the case study of today's the online video games, which is related to the QR code. QR code has a more good impact, good relations to it. So you should implement this QR code in your this particular business and get more and more people. So this is about this session of digitalization and the case study. Now I'm going. See, I'm representing the UX Living Lab. The sessions are conducted by our team, and we are the company who are really a market research company where we execute mainly qualitative and quantitative reports by taking the consumer insights, by calling them and understanding. How the brand or the product is working for them. So we try to make an extensive report for the clients to make them understand where the product of the brand is standing in today's market situation, and we try to innovate or give strategy to that particular product, process, or any service. So this is what we actually do. And if you want to learn more about the company and how it works, what are the features, what are the pricing, each and everything, you can come contact with me and I will help you with all the details what you require. I will provide you all the links in my Facebook page where you can have a calendar link where you can just book an appointment, and whatever the questions you have, I will try to help you out and try you to give a best solution. That's what we all do, and we are always ready to help our customers. And thank you for attending the session.